Gandhi fought without violence. An eye for an eye makes the world go blind.
Craig Kielburger, Free the Children organization that improves the lives of children overseas. We so often feel powerless to do anything about the many problems in the world around us. We so often left to wonder whether one person can possibly make a difference.
Pierre Trudeau patrioted the Constitution. Reason over passion.
Martin Luther King Jr. fought for African American civil rights. Faith is taking the first step, even when you don't see the whole staircase.
Henry Murphy, famous five, fought for women to be considered persons. Women are persons.
Elijah Harper wanted to give Aboriginal self-government. I was listening to the people.
Harriet Tubman rescued African American slaves in America. I had reasoned this out in my mind. There was one of two things that I had a right to, liberty or death. If I could not have one, I would have the other.
Rosa Parks, African American civil rights activist who didn't give up her seat for a white person. When one's mind is made up, this diminishes fear. Knowing what must be done does away with fear.
Not as judgmental.
Open-minded.
More aware of what goes on around the world.
More aware of people's story.
More sympathetic.
We're animal ambassadors.
We learn not to group people.
No assumptions.
Not stereotyping.
We love the earth even more.
More accepting.
More respect. 3. Educate before discriminate. Operation Smile.
BC Children's Hospital.
Provide better care for children and a chance for them to smile.
Right to play. More funding for education and equipment for a chance to give children the right to play.
Composting. Reduce your waste and your effect on the landfill.
Poverty.
Poverty happens all over the world, spending over 56% of your income over daily necessities. People that are in poverty, single mothers, Aboriginals, homelessness, and disability people.
Poverty leads to malnutrition and diseases.
When you're stuck in the poverty trap, the only way out is to educate and get yourself a good job.
Developed countries are one reason why developing cannot become developed. Aboriginal peoples.
Hardships they have faced include residential schools, they had no rights, potlatch ceremonies were banned, not classified as persons, and cut-off lands.
Aboriginal peoples were the first inhabitants of this land, but did not get the right to vote until 1960, and they were the last ones.
The Indian Act stripped Aboriginal children from their reserves and put them on residential schools. They were considered to be ward of the government.
Indian statuses were taken away for women who got married to a non-Indian. LGBTQ issues.
They were discriminated.
Some people saw it as a sin.
Some countries, they will punish you for being homosexual, such as enforcing the death penalty upon you.
The U.S., it's not legal to have a gay marriage. 21 states, you can't be fired from a job for being openly gay. Canada, gay marriage is legal. Racism.
Visible minorities face the most discrimination. They're more likely to live in areas where there's environmental conditions.
Racism can lead to many things, such as hate crimes.
It could also lead to stereotypes.
An example of extreme racism is the Holocaust. We all may be different colors, but we're all the same. Women and social justice.
They got the right to vote in 1918.
Women have many problems such as the sex trade and trafficking.
Some females face genital mutilation in religious practice.
Women in war zones. Genocide.
The Holocaust Symposium. We learned about children survivors' stories and what they personally went through.
6 million Jews were killed.
It showed that it was more better to learn from people that have experience than those who study about the genocide.
It was based on racism. Globalization.
Multinational companies are all over the world, such as Coca-Cola, Walmart, McDonald's, and they exploit developing countries.
The World Bank and IMF were ways that developing countries can borrow from the developed.
Guest speakers. Shanila was from Free the Children. She was a great presenter, and she herself was a war child.
Ahmed, although a UBC student, he taught us a lot about the Palestine and Israel conflict. He showed us that he was very interested and educated in the topic, and he wanted to teach everyone what he knew.
CHF presenters were a big intro into our geography unit.
Mr. Wong.
He taught us that racism comes in many forms. And
he gave us cookies!
Animal rights. They are just like us, but can't stand up for themselves, so we have to stand up for them.
We are killing them by hunting, polluting, eating, and using them for medicine.
And they're going extinct because of us.
We are animal ambassadors.
We love social justice!
Okay.